Welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Josh Long with AME Podcast, my quest to talk to folks who are making music beyond the classroom, what I call lifelong learning in music making or engagement. It's really both the same thing, but it's just so interesting to me to talk to folks and start to discuss those stories that they have of, why they're continuing to make music, because I think that's very important in our world today. We're sponsored by Art and Music Emporium, serving artistic excellence. We do things such as fix instruments. We do lessons. We also have a few performance initiatives going on, such as the annual Community Band by the Sea in Wildwood, New Jersey. It's actually going to be our fifth year, end of July of 2025. We're also setting up the date right now for the Bethlehem Steel Company Legacy Band. We just did a performance with them in 2024, and that was a lot of fun recreating, a historical, a steel industrial band, and really bringing history back to life. And all these groups that I'm talking about, you can actually participate in. We do have a rehearsal usually the day before, and then the concert. So it's very doable even if you're not in the area, as well as Tuba Christmases. So if you're interested in any of that, do check out www.artmusicemporium.com. If you're also watching this on YouTube, if you would like to subscribe, then you can see other videos of ours come out. As well, we're on Facebook, so do like us there. And we also do have a Patreon account. If you're interested, any of the proceeds, again, go to people helping and getting them back into playing their instrument and, again, making lifelong learning in music making. So I'm so excited about our next guest here. I actually met him through different ensembles in the Hudson Valley. He's been very much inspirational because I know he's going to talk a little bit about today how he got involved with some of these ensembles and also really started taking over, helping the administrative side of things and keeping them going in the area, which is amazing. Those groups being the Big Band Sound and the Southern Duchess Concert Band, again, all involved in the Hudson Valley in New York State. And it's really cool. So please, everybody, welcome Dave Cole. How you doing, Dave?
Hi, Josh. Thanks for inviting me and having me on your podcast.
Yeah,
Looking forward to talking with you today.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm glad you're sporting the shirt of
Yes,
the.
I'm wearing the Southern Duchess shirt. I couldn't wear my Big Band Sound shirt also, so I picked one.
Well, that's cool. Well, hey, I want to get into that in a couple minutes. I know we talked a little bit before this. I was just interested in getting a little bit about your history as far as getting involved with music. You don't have to share everything, but I'm always ask folks that just because it's just really interesting to me how they get involved and I know you play clarinet today, and sometimes you learn different stories about others that they started with different instruments, for example.
Yes, exactly. I started actually on trumpet.
Oh,
I started on
really?
trumpet in fifth grade, and
I would have never known.
yes, but in my elementary school there was a different instructor for all the brass and for all the woodwinds, and I did not get along with the brass instructor. He had me stay on page one for the first 3 months, and I said, pick any of those woodwinds so I can have the other instructor. Um, when looking at the other woodwinds, I almost played oboe, but then my parents saw that the rental cost of a plastic clarinet was a lot cheaper. So that's how I ended up on clarinet first.
Oh, wow.
But I still try to keep that lead trumpeter mentality in my playing, because
Oh,
that's really, isn't that what we all want to be? Isn't it?
yeah,
Don't you
that's
really
right.
want to be a lead trumpet player? So I added saxophone when I hit high school and have been playing all the saxes and all the clarinets since. So when I was my clarinet instructor,
Hmm.
he was first my elementary school teacher, and then also he moved to the uh, junior high when I moved to the junior high, and
Okay.
then so he was the first conductor and instructor that inspired me. I got a used buffet clarinet for $100
Oh, wow.
from 1901,
Oh,
and
wow.
really when that happened, I got a lot better with his instructions.
Hmm.
So I only took lessons through high school, and really was it for me. I
Hmm.
went to I I was so lucky that my small schools in New Jersey, near
Hmm.
Princeton, I could be in, band and orchestra as a class, wind
Hmm.
ensemble after school, jazz band after school, men's chorus as homeroom. All these things played in all the pit orchestras for all the shows. Even though it's a small school, we had so much music going on there. I was lucky to be a part of then.
Yeah.
As I was studying to go to college, oh, do you want to be a music major? Well, you can make a better living probably going into computer science. But the reason I picked the school that I did,
Uh-huh.
RPI, I went to RPI, and there, I looked at other schools that had, more serious music, like RIT is affiliated with Eastman, and okay, well, that's a little, having to audition and stuff. It turns out I made a great choice in RPI that the all the music there is run by the students. So, okay, we have conductors come in and conduct the concert band,
Hmm.
but all the decisions on what music and where do you play and traveling, that's done by students. So I also got to be the manager
Hmm.
of both the pep band and the concert band at RPI, where he had, budgets of tens of thousands of dollars. Okay, that's all decided by the students, and nice responsibility to have. And that set me up to being, so organized and knowing the organization of groups and
Hmm.
such to continue that after graduating. Oh, I do have to mention
Oh
that
yeah.
my dad got me my first gig when I was like a sophomore in high school.
Oh really?
He was putting on uh, he did events at our church,
Okay.
and just, oh, could you get together a band to play at the dinner dance this fall? So, well, where, how would I do that? Um, I had just started on sax like 2 years before, but
Hmm.
okay, I asked my band director, could I access your files? He said, sure. So just I went through all his old music, picked out, the first alto, first trumpet, first trombone.
Hmm.
I think I had a drummer and piano player, no bass, no, that was it. So that we played, maybe 20 tunes like that. Dave Cole's Carousing Cavaliers
Oh wow.
was the name of that, and we did that twice. And but that was my first time, organizing a band, knowing, what it takes to the music and the people
Hmm.
and rehearsing and where and
Yep.
all of that. So, it harkens all the way back to there. Thanks to my dad for giving me that opportunity, and uh, that set the road for the rest of my
Yeah.
music organization
Over
career.
your organization. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I just want to share. It's kind of funny you said that when you're talking about that, it brought back a memory. I did something like that similar. It was I think it was at a firehouse, it was our local firehouse. They had a kids' Christmas, where Santa Claus came, that kind of thing, and had a little bit of a presence. And it was me and I think somebody else. We orchestrated something like an actual small little group to come and play. So it was kind of cool, like thinking
But
about that. I was like,
yeah, having to find the music
yep,
for that
find
kind
the
of
music.
group
Yep.
is,
Yeah, I did the same thing. I asked my band director. We took the books, so
yeah,
same sort of thing.
and my big band still plays some of those
Oh,
same
really?
arrangements. The In the Mood, there's that same In the Mood everybody plays.
That's awesome. Well, hey, that's an awesome story, and I was actually interested, just to back up a little bit. Was there certain something that really engaged you, in the, to play clarinet? I mean, I know you changed, well, playing music. I know you kind of changed from trumpet, and you didn't really like the instructor, that kind of thing. But I always ask that question because I know, essentially, and you can think about it in two ways. You can think about it in when you started in school, in high school, or excuse me, elementary school, and then kind of moved through, and then how it excuse me, changed, later. But I was just interested if, was there something that captivated you that if you can remember?
Yeah, for me, it wasn't that anyone in my family really
Hmm.
played instruments or anything. My sisters are a bunch older than me, and
Okay.
okay, one played violin for a little while, and one played cello for a little longer.
Okay.
But I don't remember really
Yeah.
those times. So my
Yeah.
mom played. Music in the house,
Sure.
show tunes, Sound of Music. I know every single word to the Sound of Music soundtrack, things like that.
Okay.
They so before, and I don't really remember
Yeah.
why clarinet. Well, I knew I didn't want to play a string instrument. I already knew that band was more fun than orchestra. Somehow I already knew that. Um, so a trumpet just, oh, it's loud. And oh, yeah, when I can still remember that I only had a trumpet for 6 months, but I can still remember the valve oil smell. It was so
Mhm.
good opening the fresh case like you were talking about that with Jen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. Clarinets do not smell as good as brass instruments. And shining them, you can shine up, I wish, but that I just lucked into clarinet, really,
Yeah.
and it's a much easier instrument yes, to encourage all the
Yeah.
young folks to play reeds. It's easier to keep up throughout the years. You don't have to practice every day like some brass people seem to have to do. But
Uh-huh.
so really, I just lucked out after that. Once you start playing, then it's
Hmm.
band. It's so much fun,
Yeah.
and the lessons in playing on my own, that
Hmm.
is not the motivation for me. It's the being with people
Okay.
and the group dynamics, and then eventually once you get good, then the audience's reaction to that,
Hmm.
and then you're part of a
Yep.
bigger thing. It's not just you and the group you're performing with having fun. The fun extends to the whole audience. Uh,
Yeah.
but that luckily I got to play in musicals my freshman year,
Hmm.
and I've played in almost 150 different musicals as a reed
Wow.
player, and that it's a different. You're not as important as okay concert band. Everybody's just looking at you. You're a part of the whole
Hmm.
production, but with the singers and all, connecting with the audience maybe a little more. So
Hmm.
continuing that throughout the years, all the different ways of uh, playing with people and
Yeah.
playing for people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I always ask that question just because, I feel it's like with everyone who kind of starts in some sort of music program, it's you become part of that ensemble, which it feels good because you get that social aspect and get that connection right from the get-go. And then it seems like for you, as you kept going into those experiences that just really just kept enticing you, and you're still doing them today, which is great.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. Hmm.
so so anyway, I know I graduated college. I know you played through college and that kind of thing. And then I know you got into the workforce. I guess I'm assuming it's at that spot. I was just interested. Was there any time that you stopped playing or, maybe not as played as much or
No,
oh,
no.
okay.
Again, the opportunity. Thanks to Jim Mulder, who you know
Hmm.
from
Hmm.
all the different things
Yeah, yeah.
playing together. He's 4 years older than me and met his wife at RPI also, and we played in the
Okay.
bands together. So he um, graduated first, four
Okay.
years, and wanted to be. His wife's 2 years younger, so he wanted to be close by
Okay.
to commute to see her on the weekends at RPI. So that's
Okay.
why we're all here in Poughkeepsie. That it's within driving distance of Troy, New York.
Oh,
So
wow.
he got down here and got connected to the very basic music scene as it was then.
Okay.
So when I graduated 4 years later, through him and his connections that's let me
Yeah.
do the same thing so I can drive up to see Marie. My wife now was 2 years younger than me, still at RPI, drive up every weekend, still playing the bands when we go up.
Hmm.
But that's how through Jim, then we got connected to my first musical was the week before I started at IBM
Hmm.
down here, and um, we both saw an advertisement on the IBM bulletin board for right as I started
Okay.
openings for in the big band sound the jazz orchestra, which was also
Okay.
connected with IBM at the time.
Okay.
That all the guys in it in 1982 were IBMers. It had started in 1975. This year is our 50th anniversary of the big band starting, and we started a few years after that. But I connected immediately with playing at RPI. Next week, starting playing down here. Then the summer after that, and Jim already knew about the one local concert band at the time
Hmm.
was just the Rhinebeck Legion Band. So he had already been playing that, so I started playing in that, and that's how I cut the tip of my finger off one time with a circular saw, and I
Ooh.
didn't play for a month, and that's the longest I've gone without playing.
Okay. All right. Well,
That was a long time ago.
yeah, 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 definitely. Yeah, I always ask that because I know sometimes,
Yeah,
you probably
other
heard, I know, like in the other podcasts, life takes over sometimes, but it's awesome that you just kept music in your life the entire time and had those opportunities, where literally you jumped right from college right into, into
yeah,
playing.
so many people in concert band are picking it up after,
Yeah.
work or kids or okay, it's they want to
Yep.
get into it again, but we just kept playing.
Just kept playing. That's awesome. Well, I wanted to spend a little time. I know I wanted to spend a little bit more time about the big band sound because I was interested in it as you know, it started out as an industrial band, is what I'm going to call because right, it's part of an industry. It was part of IBM, and I know
Yeah.
it's not that today. And I was interested. I don't know if you wanted to share a little bit about that, just because I was, do you know how it was started? I know you weren't necessarily in it at that point, and I know you got in a couple years later. Maybe just a little bit of the history about it, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
okay, at IBM
Hmm.
in the 60s, there was actually IBM concert band,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and they had when visiting, when the president TJ Watson showed up, they would
Hmm.
have a concert for him. They actually played over the loudspeaker every morning the IBM fight song and had people
Wow.
in the 50s and 60s sing along. Now I've been told this, and that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
so weird.
yeah. Sure.
That it was that so I think one of the very old time when I started, so young,
Hmm.
22, the
Hmm.
people who were 60 and had
Yeah.
worked at IBM, okay, they remembered that having happened.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
somehow that the records of what that was are lost to history,
Okay.
but. So in 1975, a trumpet player in East Fishkill, hey, guys want to get together and play some big band charts that he got copies of. There was already an IBM Yorktown big band that he borrowed some charts from
Oh,
and
wow.
got together some people. And Ange Rappa still just retired from playing guitar with us. He was
Okay.
there that first day. So that's how I have this history of in 1975, the big band started just at with other people working at IBM East
Yeah.
Fishkill, some IBM Poughkeepsie people. By 1982, now it's a club at IBM,
Okay.
and they rehearse at the IBM Country Club. Did you know that IBM owned the Casperkill Country Club, and that was where all of the big events happened, and there was rehearsal space for a chorus and a big band. Well, we were lucky then to have
Yeah.
a free place to play when it was still owned by IBM,
Hmm.
and it It was just IBMers until we needed a fourth trombone. Okay, you know this guy. Okay, he starts playing with us. Oh, we need a second alto. Okay, so it starts then in 1993 when the layoffs started
Hmm.
happening and IBM starting cutting back. Okay, we're still allowed to rehearse at IBM, but not it's not a priority anymore. They eventually sell the country club. Okay, we find other places to rehearse. Now, a bunch of the people, a third of the band, get transferred to other places. And
Hmm.
so filling in, okay, the people that we know, Roger DiQuino, he was never an IBMer, had lots of other jobs, but okay, come play tenor sax with us. Um, Over time, morphing to fewer and fewer IBMers,
Hmm.
not affiliated with IBM, on our own for at least the past 20 years, and uh, that there are still two people in the band who work at IBM. A bunch of people
Hmm.
like me, okay, used to work there.
Right.
I stopped in 1999, so I haven't worked at IBM this millennium.
Right.
Thanks to Marie letting me do music full time. Um, but it's that's its history with IBM, and now it's just not. It's
Yeah.
grid, and it's me, and I've run it since 1991,
Okay.
and so uh, longer with that
Yeah.
than with the concert band.
Well, that's cool that you kind of you kept it together because I know, as I know, I shared with you, earlier you heard on the intro of this, the Bethlehem Steel Company band. I know that that was existed and it had its own clubhouse and the whole thing too. And then, funding got cut and this got cut and that got cut. So, and it stopped, but it's,
Morphing into different things.
yeah,
It,
that's
it still has the
awesome.
same name, and there are connections to the past, but it's yes, different than it was.
Yeah, that's neat. Now, as far as like, I know you probably don't, of what the original big band was, doesn't do the same sort of performances for IBM anymore. But as far as, if I may ask, as far as playing in the community, has that changed in it's going to be the 50 years now? I know there's tons of concerts out there that you always play in the community, and that's what I'm just interested in, if you don't mind
At,
sharing about that.
at the beginning, all the municipalities around here now,
Hmm.
e- during the summer, each have their own concert series,
Yeah,
which
okay.
is sort of amazing.
It is.
So they'll have, every week or every other week, there'll be a concert in the park. Uh, and there's at least 10 in Dutchess County municipalities that do that. Back then, they hadn't started yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it was really private dances back when people went dinner dancing, and
Hmm.
now they don't do that anymore.
Yep.
There's swing dancing, which we would love to play for swing dances, but they
Hmm.
mainly have smaller bands in smaller venues. We
Hmm.
only appear as the full 20 pieces.
Yeah.
So, but luckily, there are still some things. We play at Boscobel every year outdoors to several hundred people, nice outdoor venue, and we put on our own um, uh, charity fundraiser for the local Sparrow's Nest charity at Freedom Park. It's
Hmm.
a show that I create every year. Last year was Ellen, Nat, and Frank, big band style. So it was
Hmm.
all Ella Fitzgerald, Nat King Cole, and Frank Sinatra tunes with six vocalists and a whole script as if it's a musical stage show.
Yeah.
And we raised $5,500 for Sparrow's Nest, and so we do that every year. Morphed into doing that,
Yeah.
adding things like that, more things for the community like that
Hmm.
that there weren't in the past. Um, have you found that with your groups that the people that hire you are different over the
Yeah. It morphs. I think that's the biggest thing. I think the groups morph of what they're used for. I mean, just as it's like a typical, concert band. They're always looking for parade bands, for example. And then, but
yeah
for concert bands, a lot of the concert different groups, they don't, some of them want us and some don't, just because they want a smaller group. And, I've seen For example, like I'll even say this, I know down at the Shore Points, for example, they'll want more of like a tribute band, so more pop band, which is a four-piece group,
Yeah,
typical rock band,
yeah,
that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So it's like we've morphed into doing different things because of that. So it's kind of neat to hear that from you, just to see how, that's changed, over the time and, have you created a concert, at a
yeah,
Freedom Park.
yeah. Doing it ourselves. It's just easiest that way. And that's on the big band side. On the concert
Yeah.
band side,
Hmm.
I did want to ask or talk to you about
Yeah, sure.
because like okay, when we're in grade school and junior
Hmm.
high and high school and even
Hmm.
college,
Hmm.
the most fun thing is band, right?
Yeah.
Band, okay, and
Hmm.
there's an orchestra too,
Hmm.
but if you're a wind player, okay, and audience, that's the thing. Band,
Yep.
okay,
Hmm.
um, then you, it's the most exciting to play in. It's the
Hmm.
most exciting to listen to. Okay, you get out into the real world, and it's a different environment. The history of, European orchestras
Hmm.
and funding for,
Yep.
okay, we're going to play a professional orchestra to do this, but, and corporate sponsors and, tickets and, okay, a guaranteed place to play four
Uh-huh.
times, five times a year. And it's so serious and there's all this money, but but okay, band is the better thing. It's more fun to listen to. It's
Hmm.
why? Uh, you know, history and same thing with only for big bands. Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra and Wynton
Hmm.
Marsalis. Okay,
Hmm.
there's one, and there's a Cleveland Jazz Orchestra, but to have that place to go all the time to hear
Hmm.
big band jazz. Okay. Yeah, Dallas Wind Symphony for concert bands, but why isn't it a
Hmm.
whole cultural thing?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, I'll share about this. I've been pondering that question for a long time, just because, it seems that like the only like band is always kind of attached to some sort of sport, right? That's where you see them. You'll see them at a basketball or a football game, or
Yeah,
you'll
yeah,
see them at the parades. Like I keep saying, I bring up the parades because they want to see people march, right? And then
yeah,
yet as you know, there's such a vast amount of repertoire just for wind ensembles. And, I historically I've been talking to, I call them my peers, talking about this. And historically, the bands were created to kind of share all of, the transcriptions from the orchestras in the beginning. Now,
right, right,
you know what I
right,
mean? So
right, right.
they were the, there was obviously not much recording going on at that time, so they would come and they perform. But yet, like you said, John Philip Sousa, he had his own band and he had his concert and he had his singers and he had a whole huge performance, venue coming through along with, Arthur Pryor and so on and so forth. But it's like it's so weird that today that, it's kind of shoveled under the carpet a
Yeah,
little
so
bit,
we that Southern Dutch Country Band,
Yeah.
it's we're equated with a four-piece rock band.
Yeah.
And, okay, we can have you or we can have that. No, we're the community.
Right.
We have 80 people are going to show up
Yep.
out of the 125 who play with us this
Hmm.
summer. We're the community. You invite us, we're you. Uh,
Hmm.
and it's better music and for everybody.
Hmm.
Um, Exciting for us, exciting for the crowd, for all ages.
Yep.
It's yeah. Uh,
Yeah, I know it's frustrating. I know because just like I said, and I'll be honest with you, and I will share this. Like the group that I started down in Wildwood, I go down there and I vacation, and I thought, it'd be cool to do a concert band there. Now, granted, they have their performance schedules. We're
mm,
not a part of those performance schedules.
ah,
They're nice enough to add us with that
yeah,
because I've asked, but
yeah,
we create our own venue. We rent the place, the
yeah,
facility, everything. We do
yeah,
it all because we're getting quite a bit of a crowd coming and seeing us, but it's just like you said, it's sad because it exists a little bit. I've heard and I'm just thinking, out loud. I've heard, the Northern Shore Points. around Asbury Park, for example. I have a friend up there, and he says there's a concert band that goes from different shores yet. It used to be every night. Now it's like
Uh,
once a week off the time, so it's not like it used to be, but I know it
yeah, and
frustrates
I
me.
know there's probably maybe where you grow up in Pennsylvania, are there communities like that with, there's the community band, and every, week it's going to appear, on the village green or whatever, or every other week. And okay, that's the thing, and everybody comes out, and we just don't have that around
Yeah.
here.
Well, I
Uh,
didn't even know like how I got on this whole kick of community bands was in our town, there was like seven different community groups that
wow.
I could count. Counting some that were pretty involved with churches, but were still pretty large. And I'm talking, and I'll say it was two drum corps, two
Oh,
community
there you go.
bands. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? So like, and now, it's kind of sad. There's a very small community band and a very small drum corps that still exists, and that's it. So and the high school band's still, going, but it's like that's why I think I got on this whole kick because it's like, I was in high school, I loved it. It was like my whole life, and then school ended, and I get these people who are like, well, I did that in school. I'm not going to continue. I'm going to do other things in life. And just like you said, it's out there in the community. So,
Yeah, so where I was growing up, which isn't too far from you, we had
mhm,
nothing, in Princeton, around Princeton.
yeah,
A very small community band. I would have had to, drive an hour
an hour, yeah,
to, and like that was it. And
yeah,
no drum corps in that part of
mm,
New Jersey.
yeah,
Up near New York City, yeah, the Bridgemen were
yep,
around and still continue.
and still
Um,
continue.
but yeah, but they had to morph too, right?
Yep.
Into
Hmm.
the yeah, the marching band. If you that
Yeah.
it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it
But
is. It is weird, and I was just like you. Like, I was on the outskirts of. There's four city Allentown bands. One being the Allentown band, which I'm sure you know. And that they all still exist. But I'll be honest with you. Even their I played with them when I was in high school because that was one of the active community groups. And, we did tons of concerts, but just like you said, I always was driving 45 minutes to an hour and a half to go to, rehearsals and concerts. And it was out of my community. And I've even heard from some of them that a lot of their performances have ended too, meaning that they're still doing, but it's not as much as it used to be. Like there used to be, just like you said, for example, in Allentown, it's called West Park. There's a concert shell that they have concerts there, and they used to have them every week. Now they still do, but they're not as regular as they used to be, and it's funding. It's the same old story, funding and people coming out and, you know,
but the dearth of that here is why
yeah.
I created
Yeah, I was
Southern
just gonna ask
Concert
that.
Band.
Yeah. Yeah.
That for the first decade that I
Hmm.
lived here,
Yeah.
we would drive an hour each way to play
Hmm.
in the Rhinebeck Legion Band, the only small
Hmm.
community band around. And they said, well, why isn't there more of this? Why isn't there one here that I don't have to drive so far
Hmm.
to? So at the very beginning of eBay, the early parts of 1999,
Okay.
oh, I could buy my own charts. I could start my own
Hmm.
concert band. So I started gathering charts, and Rhinebeck Band played some of them, but it's like,
Hmm.
okay, uh, I always thought I needed a school, since I'm not a teacher, don't have
Hmm.
access to a
Yeah.
band room. I always thought I would need access to a band room to
Hmm.
have access to the percussion.
Got it. Okay.
So I didn't actually, I should have done this 10 years before I did.
Hmm.
Maybe one of my biggest regrets that I could have done this before. So here I am collecting stuff.
Hmm.
Okay, we're playing in musicals with different high schools around,
Hmm.
and finally in um, 2011,
Hmm.
we know Steve Petrowski was the band director at Beacon High School,
Hmm.
and played in a couple shows with him. And now we're just talking. And he say, "Yeah, I wish I had some place that my kids could play in the
Hmm.
summer." I
Hmm.
go, "Yeah, wouldn't that be great to have a community band and we could have all the people? So we had a couple combined concerts. We played 1812 Overture with a bunch of the people still in Southern Dutchess,
Hmm.
um, with the Beacon High School kids.
Okay.
And that, in essence, was the start. A couple
Oh,
months
wow.
later, for the last half of that summer, he thought, we thought, I thought, band rooms don't get used during the summer. Shouldn't we be able to use the band room then?
Hmm.
That's where community bands, I thought, in
Yeah.
my Spatkill band happened to have one for 2 years in the mid '90s
Okay.
at Spatkill High School.
Okay.
We only had one concert ever, but because same thing, the
Right.
organization of it. But in
Right.
Beacon, oh no, you can't, you can't have access because that's when construction happens. You can't, nobody can be in the building. Oh, and if you were in the building, you'd all need to get fingerprinted and, you wouldn't be able to come in here all the time. Okay,
Yep.
fine. But I have Steve willing to bring some of his kids in and
Yeah.
access to his library of music. So that's when I first started renting the community recreation center that we're still involved in with today. And yeah,
Yeah.
you don't need a band room. The drummers, once you get them, actually are willing to bring all their stuff. Okay, even timpani. Thank you, Rick Spola, for bringing even timpani to our
Hmm.
concert and events. So that's when we started, and that it. At first, I thought it would be like needed to be a sponsored, like a continuing education sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
thing out of
Yeah.
the school
Yep.
with more involvement. An
Hmm.
organization by the band director at that time said, no, that's not going to happen either. So, okay, it's just me
Yep.
doing this all, and I'll organize everything and do all the music, and fine, fine. I could even conduct if needed, turns out. I didn't know I could do that till it happened. But thanks to people like you, and
Yeah.
we've had conductors through the years to do it the right way, not
Hmm.
just by waving my arms. Uh,
Yeah, well, it's interesting, and that's kind of funny. You kind of said that about how you wanted to kind of attach it to a school, you know what I mean, and use the facilities. Because, I mean, exactly what you said is right. I think a lot, there is quite a bit of community bands that do that, just because they're using, the spaces or,
yes,
like, yeah, yeah. For
put,
example, like,
putting the stuff away, where are you going to
yeah,
put it? You have to
yeah,
put it in your car every
exactly.
time? Yeah,
Right, you
we
got to
do.
take it every time, and like for example, the Bellefonte Community Band, which I was a conductor there for about 4 years when I was up at Penn State. They started out in the middle school, in Bellefonte. You know what I mean? And they could store music there. It was just a different atmosphere. But exactly what you're talking about is becoming a thing because essentially, when the summer would come, they would rehearse during the school year, excuse me. And when the summer would come, there would be just a certain number they could do, and then the building was closed. That's it. There's renovations, they're cleaning the floors. You couldn't be in there.
And
You
yeah,
know?
insurance or whatever, liability,
That's
yeah,
right.
you don't want to get into all that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they moved now to I think, and they also needed a bigger facility now because they've gotten larger, which is great. So they moved to they found a local church, that's been helping them out that has a pretty large fellowship hall. But
Mhm.
exactly what you're saying, it's kind of interesting. The only reason I'm bringing it up, it brought that connection of where it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to a school, right? And you kind of it's kind of neat that you brought that up and then kind of moved on with it. So my question was like, other than what was your motivation to do all of that? To just kind of create this big group, which is it's large now. I mean, I know, I mean, goodness gracious, you have like some concerts 80 people or so, so playing that is.
Well, having by then
Yeah.
10, 15 years of experience with the big band,
Hmm.
knowing, I could easily handle the organization
Yeah. Yeah.
part of it. It's getting the people. Well, for me, okay, big band is the best way to connect with an audience.
Okay.
Dancers. Because people don't really dance to concert band stuff,
Right.
right? But
Right.
the emotions it has for just 20 pieces and getting people to dance and
Yeah.
the American standards, that's the best music there is.
Hmm.
You
Okay.
know, Ella Fitzgerald, Frank Sinatra stuff.
Hmm.
That's the best music. Count Basie's orchestrations. Okay,
Yeah.
that connects with the audience the best. But playing, my favorite, especially as a first chair, first clarinet player up
Hmm.
till then, the
Yeah.
most fun to play is concert band music.
Okay.
Uh, you're the violins, you're carrying the mail, you get all the interesting parts,
Yeah.
uh, and the sound of the band is so much bigger and better with all that brass
Hmm.
than just a big band. So, wanting to do that closer than having to drive an hour to Rhinebeck.
Yeah.
Uh, and then okay, I run it myself. I get to play music I want to play
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
Rhinebeck, the selections. Okay, it's all up to the person picking the music. Me, now you've been in my band long enough.
Yep.
I pick. Okay, if there's one for us that was really fun for us to play, then there's right. I was just thinking about this. I think right in 1970 when Evening with the Pops started
Hmm.
on PBS.
Hmm.
Uh, my mom and dad would and I would watch that every week.
Yeah.
So not the symphony orchestra stuff, but the pop stuff.
The pop
Okay,
stuff. Okay.
Arthur Fiedler, what he would,
Hmm.
okay, you'd hear something that you didn't know, and then you'd hear, two things that you did,
Yeah.
and they're all pretty short selections. And it's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I strive to do for concert band audiences.
Yeah.
Have really fun stuff to play, but also stuff that entertains everybody.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's neat that you took that motivation and kind of brought it, and centered it, obviously around, like I said, Fishkill in New York, and really just spent, time just like saying, I'm going to be motivated to do this, and then brought some of the things that you like into it. It's
And,
really
and by
neat.
and by then, the connections that I had from big band and playing in shows and playing at Vassar Wind Ensemble
Hmm.
for 5 years. Then I knew lots of people. Okay, don't you want to play during the summer? Yeah. Doesn't you? Do you want to play with your kids? Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? Or do
Yeah.
you want to play with your spouse? Yes. Come. Okay. And yeah, I have all these friends who would like to pick up their instruments again too. Okay. So we have the from music teachers, professionals, down to people just picking up their instruments. If you want to join our band, please join our band. Yes, that's the other thing. No auditions, whatever. You want to come just once, and that fits in your schedule for
Hmm.
the summer. Just tell me when that one time is going to be, and that's fine with me. That life is complicated enough without having to, commit to things more than you want. But if you're going to have fun, we want you to have fun with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's a great motto. Yeah, because I know, like, even with, me, I'm, around a certain amount of time, and then I disappear, and I know there's
No, that's
enough
great.
that's
That's
around,
great.
you know.
That's great. Because it feels enough people, and then we all
Yeah.
fill in for each other when
Yeah.
we're all on vacation. Well, I don't take vacation during the summer anymore, but
I
everybody else
understand.
does. Yeah.
I understand that.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
want to anyway. It's
Yeah.
hot. I don't want a
Yeah.
vacation when it's hot.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Well, that's awesome. And if I may ask, and I don't even know this, how many years have the Southern Duchess concert band been in existence? Is it
It's going to be our 14th
14th year? Oh,
year this year. So,
oh,
and
that's nice.
we started out about maybe 40 people.
Okay.
So, doubling in size, but of the performers. But like I said, 122, 25 people played with us at least once last summer
Okay.
because of that. Oh, come once or twice, or
Yeah.
you have a friend who's just visiting and they happen to, be going to Crane. Bring them along.
Right. Yeah, and it's great that you also have connections. I know you have a very active schedule with it because I know you, just like you said, the municipalities around the area, obviously bring you in and have you play. And I believe you probably know more than me. How many concerts is it? Is it about eight,
Well,
10,
yeah,
somewhere?
seven or eight, and
Seven or eight.
we might have had nine. We might have nine this year. And
Okay.
this is the worst part. And the worst 2 months are January and February because you just don't know. If
Yeah.
we ran our own concerts right, on
Yeah.
the green, whatever, Lake George, the band that they have their
Yep.
own band
Yep.
shell every
Yep.
Tuesday. Wouldn't that be so great?
It
You
would
know what
be.
it's going to be? No, it's, oh, are they going to choose to have us? They've had us 10 years in a row. Are they
Mhm.
going to have us again? Well,
Yep.
Freedom Park in the town of LaGrange, no, we're not going to have you. Why? They never tell you.
Yep.
We just have to find out other ways. Okay, we'll just have our own concert. We'll set up our own concert there so that those fans can see us who live in LaGrange. But just are we gonna be? We used to play at the Vanderbilt Mansion. Really great. We had we drew more people than the West Point concert band at our last concert there, but they didn't have us back. Okay, I understand why the West Point band's more important to have than us, but
Yep.
again, we're the community here.
Yeah.
We bring the people who live here to perform and their people to come and listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a struggle every summer to try to, because I don't go and beg for concerts.
Hmm.
I don't go say, hey, you want to have us? We're here. I can make you a deal, whatever,
Right.
that once you know of us, hopefully you will have us back and know how easy we are to deal with, have us back.
Yeah.
And the number of people that we bring and how great the music is for everybody. Uh, you should have us back. But
Yeah.
but it's unknown till I don't know
Yep.
March, April. How many concerts are there going to be? Okay.
No, I get it. I get it because I know sometimes they, change up who's going to be there and all of
Yeah.
that, and I get all of that. But I know it's frustrating, especially because I think as you're just saying with everybody's schedule, you try to get everything done early so everybody knows what's happening.
And in some locations, municipalities, it's up to the recreation director. It's one person. Okay, they make the decision, and when they change, okay, are that person know us or not?
Yep.
Other places, it's a committee of people. Okay, and the committee
Right.
changes. You know all
Yep.
those people?
Right. Yep.
It's the yes, the crapshoot every year.
Yeah, it gets frustrating, I'm sure. But it's awesome. You keep motivated to kind of keep it together and keep it moving. And I know, I was around. I mean, I wasn't in the group, but I know you survived the pandemic, and got through that. I know that's been only reason why I'm saying that is that kind of killed some of the programs,
Yes, yes. It was the challenge, and I think we were the first concert band back to rehearsing and performing because I was following the science, and
Yeah,
we rehearsed outdoors, which we still do because you can fit
mhm,
100 people outside, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
And sitting far apart and wearing masks and bell covers at the beginning.
hmm,
Yes, that we had performances the summer of 2020
yeah,
was really great.
yeah. That's awesome.
That everybody, it all came together to do that, to keep the streak alive and
Yeah,
to look to the future, and it got
yeah.
better and better
Yeah.
the other summers.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. I know we actually did our Tuba Christmas on 2020. And I know I think most of them were canceled because most of them are inside, but it was an outdoor thing. And well, I just like you, I minimized it and I literally said, with that, it's the same, almost the same music. I picked out the music, no rehearsal. Come, show up. We're gonna play. Stand. We're not even gonna be close to one another. So, and that's how we did it. It was
And
great.
it made special memories. Everybody
Yeah.
remembers those days.
Yeah, I know, and it was kind of funny because I think everybody still talks about that, because and that event has gotten bigger too, I think, because of that. But that's really awesome, Dave. I mean, it's great to hear this. And what I wanted to get into just a little bit here is I wanted to kind of unpack a little bit of your motivation. I know, and one thing you said earlier, and I'm just interested. I know you seem to dedicate quite a bit of time, into this. Especially, you made the comment of thanks, Marie. I'm kind of doing this more full time now. And I was, and don't take this the wrong way, but I know there's not, it's unfortunately, as we know, which is sad in our world, and it's not very financially, stable, as you know. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that's what we do it for, but I was just interested of, getting some ideas of like, your motivation now of kind of, obviously keeping two groups running, moving forward, providing experiences for others, musicians, and then also the audience, why you dedicate your time a little bit. And I don't know if that's something that, readily available you have to think about, but it's just, it's really neat to me to see you do this because I think, if no offense, if you didn't do it, it wasn't here. It wouldn't be here. It wouldn't be happening. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be happening in the area the way it is. And I'm just kind of interested if you want
Yeah,
to
we
talk a
were.
little bit about that.
Um, I was fortunate to work for IBM for 17 and a half years,
Uh,
and Ray started soon after me, and she
mhm.
just retired. So she'd been
Okay.
working. Thanks to her working
Uh-huh.
that full time, I could. When after the layoffs happened, IBM became not as much fun. In
Got
where
it.
I worked in software, it became a lot less fun.
Got
She
it.
worked in hardware
Hmm.
with sort of the same people all the time. So she
Okay.
still got to work with her friends.
Got it.
In software, it was different groups and shuffling you around and different stuff, and there's not as much to do and the pressure.
Hmm.
So it's like, yeah, um, we could either, we could buy a bigger house or I could just stop working. And is that okay? And I'll, do music stuff and, house stuff. And um, I was lucky to be able to do that. And well, we don't have kids, so
Hmm.
being able to spend lots of time doing
Hmm.
the music things, uh, it's what I like doing the most. So I get to do that all the time, and um, you know, and I don't, like I said, I don't really practice other than I look at music every day. I use the think
Hmm.
method, the Harold Hill think method. I'm looking at music all the time, but
Yeah.
it's making sure that we're always looking forward to something. That
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
a concert band or a big band, or I also run a have run a clarinet ensemble for 30
Oh.
years that gets together about once a month, and we make dinner and play clarinet quartets with 14, 16 people. Uh,
Wow.
so, getting all of our friends together and making music also in lots of
Yeah.
different ways, that there's always something um, to look forward to keep your mind busy and to still continue the fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't actually, there you go. That's something I didn't know about the clarinet ensemble. That's
Yes,
awesome
we
that you
call
do.
ourselves the clarinets.
Oh, okay.
We've only performed once out of it's just to sit around and have a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Well, the reason why I'm bringing it up is because, as I know, and obviously for obvious reasons. I mean, it's a lot of work. A lot of people think it's, a band we just get together. Like I always joke. It's the always of, well, hey, why don't you just bring the band and it's just tonight you can just get together and it's just they think it's like a radio. You just turn it on or on your car or whatever your app, you turn it on and it's live. And that's not how it works. It's like, there's planning, and getting everybody to know the music and getting the music to everybody. And just like you said, coordinating and all of that. I mean, there's tons of, and I'm being brief, talking about
Yes,
it.
yes.
So, and it's awesome that to find out that you're just really motivated to do that. And that's the reason why I was asking that, because I think a lot of people just don't understand how much time it is to put into it, And I mean, not that complaining here, that's not what we're doing, but it's just, you're doing it because you love doing it. And it's so time consuming. It can take weeks and months and, you know,
And doing it 1 year, then okay, January, right? We gotta choose. That's when you gotta choose the music for the summer, and then February, okay, that's when you gotta print it, and then March, okay, that's when you gotta distribute it because everybody needs it in advance, okay, and you gotta January, February, that's when you plan the concerts, and then yeah, and then doing it, okay, that's its own thing. Is it gonna rain? Because we rehearse outside, right? Is it
Mhm.
gonna rain? Is it gonna who's not gonna be there? Make sure you have all the percussion there, and uh, it's constant, which is good. Keeps
Yeah.
my mind busy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Or you're missing. I mean, I know you have quite a bit of musicians now, or you're missing, the that key percussionist. I'll just say
Yep.
it that way. It's like
Okay,
great.
again, or yeah, the right, the make sure all the people who have to conduct the different tunes that they're going to be there, and
Yep.
yes, if there's an oboe solo, we have an oboist. Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah,
All the myriad little things.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Big band just got. Oh, could you? We don't know where we're going to have this event. We don't know where, and we don't know what time it is. It might be in the beginning. It might be in 3 weeks from now. Could you play? Yeah, that's not good enough, and that's not. It takes a little planning
yep,
for even 20 people
yep,
to show up to play for you if you don't
yep,
know where and you don't know when.
yep.
No, no, sorry.
I know our events, just like as I set literally. It's just kind of how you say, like for our one in Wildwood, for example, we have, I always talk this. We have the concert at the end of July, and then there's really nothing happening in August other than I'm talking to folks. September, October, I already have the
Ready
application for
for, yeah,
next year, already putting it in for the next year, so I can, reserve the date and have all that. And then, it's just like you said, it's just you plan, 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 plan. Each month you're, knocking off something because it goes quick,
mhm.
So
Yeah. But it's all worth it in the end
yes,
because
it is. And sometimes, just like you said, it's like it's so much fun and it's so much planning, and then, it's an hour and a half, and
yeah,
it's over.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It just goes by like that.
No, yeah, I feel bad for some of the tunes, that everybody looks forward to play one year. It's like, oh yeah, that was fun. Like we just did Barbara Seville
Mhm.
Overture, right? It's
Yeah.
fun. We rehearsed it, well, 4 or 5 times, and we
Uh-huh.
performed it once or twice. Okay, it was a lot to get everybody to do that
Right.
and rehearse it and putting in the folders and planning on when you're doing it. But yeah, we got to move on to something else because there's another fun thing
Yeah.
that we could be doing next year. So the hard choices like that, um,
Hmm.
uh, but that the amount of effort,
Hmm.
right, that it takes the planning people uh, to do the doing of it
Yeah.
uh, isn't as long, but it's more intense fun,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, definitely. And it's awesome that you're using it as a kind of a creative side, and keep your mind kind of, stimulated and moving forward and thinking and constantly thinking. Because I
Yeah,
think,
yeah, all the different things. That's why,
yeah,
for I write the script for our big band show. So that's a different side of getting to create words and not
yep,
just music too. So
yeah,
all the different, I started the website because computer guy. I've started the website in 1998, and
hmm,
so I get to do lots of computer stuff still um,
yeah,
uh, too. That it's not just an instrumentalist coming and playing and having fun
hmm,
as the playing part.
right.
It's all the other things too are fun to me.
Yeah.
Not dealing with the municipalities, but everything else.
I understand.
Yes, please, please, please. If you're watching this, yes, please have us for a concert.
Yeah, exactly. And make it easy. I always say that,
Yes, yes.
just talk to us. Well, hey, as we're kind of wrapping up this podcast, and something that I like to ask all individuals, who are kind of on this, and it's more of a deeper question. You might already be primed for it because I know you watch our podcast, but I'm really interested in, folks continuing to play, obviously coming back into, playing, or obviously, maybe even starting an instrument, for example. And I always say that just because, sometimes you might have not had the time in, school to start, and then decide you want to play an instrument. And to be honest, it's never too late. So I was just interested if I could get some, thoughts on you. I know you've said it earlier with the Southern Duchess concert band that you have folks who have come who might have just started playing or haven't played in a while. And I was just interested if you could elaborate on that more. What you would say to some folks, folks that are on this podcast that might be interested in playing music again, or again, picking up an instrument if they've never done it, just to come out and do it. What you might say.
Yeah, each person. with so many people in Southern Duchess Concert Band, there's lots of different motivations that all the different people have. Some it's playing with their friends, and you've been if you're not playing an instrument and you know people who do, okay, now you can come play with them. If it's oh yeah, I regret putting down my instrument, and I was really good in high school, and for whatever circumstances, sometimes it's jobs change, or kids grow up and now you have the opportunity to play, or if you now get to play with your kids or
Mhm.
spouses or whatever. It's that those are all great reasons to pick it up, because it's really fun once you get out and do it. Um, and in particular, Southern Duchess Concert Band,
Mhm.
you don't your involvement can that's why I have it be whatever you want your involvement to be.
Mhm.
There's some people who want to practice all the time because that's what they really like and
Mhm.
get the tunes down pat. That's really great. Or if you just want to come and we have enough people. If you sit out the hard passages, that's fine too. If you want to play the easy stuff because you're out playing with people, that's fine too. It's all whatever gets you the fun at the end. Uh, that's the reason to come out to do it.
Very well said. Yeah, I like that because I think people get intimidated by it, and it's really just like you say, there are groups such as Southern Duchess Concert Band that really will provide a place for you to go, and
And
like I said, there's no pressure.
if not us now, we're very lucky because right when I started up Southern Duchess Concert Band, the Aerophone band started for school kids to be a community band with their parents and people, and now it's mainly a community band. And the scout band, there's a scout band that rehearses in Hopewell Junction. Uh, for it's differing levels, differing commitments, differing people are involved. Now there's a selection. If Southern Duchess isn't the band for you, maybe there are other bands that are right for you for your level of playing or how often you want to play, timing, summer versus school year. We're fortunate here to have more of that than when I first moved here. So it's really
Right.
great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and thanks for sharing that. I know, like I said, I had one of the podcasts I had here, and a friend of mine come on, and she was like, "There's a band out there for everybody. You just have to find it," And even just like you said, I know it's more of your clarinet ensemble that you have is more of, a fun time with friends. But even, not saying your group, but something like that does exist where we don't even know about because they don't
Right,
publicly perform. You know
right,
what I mean? As
right,
much. You
right.
know what I mean?
As much, yes. Yeah, there are woodwind quintets around,
Mhm,
for the classically minded wind players too.
mhm.
Lots of things going on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. Well, hey, Dave, thank you so much for being on this podcast. I mean, I do want to say, I appreciate all the energy you're putting into the area. I know I've kind of come into your realm here late because you already have this established, but it's just amazing to hear, of all the years of service you've provided for the Hudson Valley, just, coming in the area and, keeping, the big band sound going and then starting with the Southern Duchess concert band. I mean, it's great to just see you keep motivating and providing some outlet for people because that's it kind of warms my heart. I have to say it that way because it's like I told you earlier, we've seen them decline, and you're not allowing that to happen. You're pushing forward even with whatever challenges you have. So thank you for that.
Yes, happy to do it, and thank you for being a part of all the different groups that I get to see you at, and promoting us through this venue too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I'll for those that are on here, I will put all the information about Southern Duchess concert band in the in the comments as they say it in the writing, so you can click that. Or obviously, if you are interested or in the area, just let one of us know and we can point you in the right direction. I would say it that way. So thank you so much again, Dave, and thank you for being on this.
Super. Thank you, Josh.